They're not
saying the
worthy of
same
it, and
shit.
they're not entitled to it.
That's all he doing is saying the same shit, bro. Why we just said keep oral tradition out of scientific conversations, and you're saying we can do whatever
Why
the
wasn't
fuck
he
we
done
want.
talking?
So why are we still talking to him?
I mean,
Yeah, but
you guys,
At a certain point, when you bringing up,
Justify this
at
shit,
the end of the
bro.
day, this is what happened.
at a certain point, when you bringing up oral traditions and belief systems and belief into a scientific conversation, that's scientific erasure. We're not telling you not to have your oral traditions. That's absolutely not what we're saying, not what we're talking about. That wasn't our intentions. It's just leave it out of the scientific discussions. That's it. When you bring it in, I'm gonna say you committing scientific erasure. How about that?
Okay, in scientific erasure, is that contributing to anybody's genocide?
Mateo, you said something earlier about
Does it?
African.
Hold on, wait, Casey. Let's stick there. Does that contribute to people's genocide? Does it?
No, I don't think Native Americans believe in their oral traditions contributes to anyone's genocide. Can you tell me who it does?
And science does?
No.
Okay.
But I think you're missing the point. It's not that I don't think nobody's telling you not to y'all can't bring it up.
They
But
are.
at the same time, you're free to bring it up, but they're free to present a scientific perspective and say that's not true. And so
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
the question is,
Like, since my people have a story of how the heavens were created, right? Now, if I hold on, I'm getting a call. Let me decline that real quick. Now, my people have a origin story of how the heavens were created, right? Now, if I bring that into a scientific discussion, they have full range to ask me questions as to why I believe that is. Now, if I can't come with scientific fact as to why that is, then I understand why I lost a scientific discussion, like I lost out on a scientific discussion. Now, when it comes to trading stories, like how our people do, and sharing beliefs and stuff like our people do, then that's a different story because we get that understanding on that level because that is within that part of our diaspora. But when we're just talking about science and coming with facts and stuff, I would have lost that argument because I don't know why that is. Even I'm still learning within my own teaching, speaking to my elders, and I'm still learning, like as to why they believe certain things and stuff of that nature. So that's all I have to say about that.
but listen, here's the thing: these fucking pseudo conspiracy theorists, they're stupid conspiracy theories. It hurts black people. It hurts indigenous people, right? So that's why.
You said something earlier about African origin stories that say that we're the devil and shit like that. Can you say
No,
that?
that's not what I said. That's not what I said. No,
Okay.
I said no. I said that the African guy shared with us his origin story, right? And his origin story simply said that his people came from heaven to earth. I said that nobody has a problem with that origin story because it doesn't name another group of people and call them devils and call them evil and the enemy and target them. Their origin story doesn't say that. But
Pretendians oral tradition don't say that either.
Yes, it does. Yes, it
No, it
does.
don't. Yeah, I've never heard a pretendians oral tradition say that y'all are the devil, y'all are evil, y'all should be wiped out, etc., etc.
I mean, they literally say, or they don't literally say that we're the devil, all right? But they do say that we are working in cahoots with the white man to do all these evil, devilish things to them, like steal their culture, erase their identity.
They say the same shit about us, though.
Yeah.
That's not hurting us, though, because somebody
doesn't.
said that I'm working with the white man.
Why do you care?
I don't care if somebody say I'm working with the white man. I don't.
When they say that, Sutek, that's not part of their oral tradition.
Don't mind getting important here.
They laugh about it.
I can't share the live. My shit is back. My shit is locked up because somebody called me the N word and I had to go in on their ass. So I can't message nobody. Can y'all get important here?
Like, I mean, if it doesn't, if it doesn't hurt you, I don't understand why you guys even bother addressing them. If they didn't hurt Native people, I wouldn't have a fucking thing to say about it. I would just laugh at them and move it on and keep it pushing.
Bro, y'all put pork on the green screen. So he came. Somebody sent him the thing, so he came to speak on it.
I sent him the thing, and I didn't put him on anything. Mono did. I saw that Mono had him in the background. I asked him what was going on, because at that point I didn't know that there was this contention between him and Native Mamas, and so I sent him the invite so that he can come and speak for himself and defend his position.
Yeah, it wasn't just her though.
I mean, that's all he told us about.
Yeah, it's another dude that he made a post talking about we took L's from the Pretendians and now we scared to address the Native American or something, and we don't want smoke, which I've never ran from smoke. So then when I started stitching his videos calling them out, he basically ran and said, we don't have to sit there and tell you guys anything or do anything with oral traditions. And I told him the same thing I always say: keep your oral traditions. That's perfectly cool. But when we're having a scientific conversation, leave your belief and your oral traditions out of it, because a lot of that stuff's not backed up by facts and evidence.
Hold on. Why are natives obligated to give a scientific argument to justify
He's
what?
not
Because
saying
we're
that,
having
bro.
a scientific argument. It's not based
The
on
point is that
tradition and belief. This
Listen
is,
to my
you know what?
question.
Hey,
My
look,
damn question.
Sutek
Listen to my damn
and Young
question.
Rev, y'all have y'all a nice night. I'm not finna keep going back and forth with a motherfucker that don't understand the shit that I
Go ahead,
keep
Rev.
fucking saying. This
Yeah,
is
go ahead,
fucking
Rev.
weird.
He's not saying that. He's not saying that they're obligated. He's saying that when they bring it up, that they have every right to ask questions about it because it was brought up in the discussion. He is not saying they're obligated to. For instance, if somebody asked me, like, and I don't, like how I said, I admittedly said that I don't know too much about the origin story. I just know that we have an origin story about the heavens, how they were created. I'm not going to bring that shit up because I'm not going to be able to like fight and prove facts and like, because I'm still learning. So me personally, I wouldn't do that. So I think that's what he's saying. Because it was brought up. Now, they're not obligated. Nobody's obligated to share shit. We're not even obligated to have this conversation right now, but we're having it because we're all men here, right? So, that being said, let Sister Clown Horse
I
speak.
understand what Port said and where he was coming from.
Let Sister Clown Horse speak, please. Thank you.
All right.
I kind of agree with J-Dub. I don't know. I don't join conversations myself because I'm Lakota and I'm Polynesian. And so I believe in my own traditions. But I've had conversations where I've been into their lives and I've been able to ask questions and to see what their opinion and what their thoughts are on different things. And I don't know. I don't think it's disrespectful because that's what the basis of their lives are is they want to know scientific fact, not just about natives, but like everyone in general. I feel like I've watched like numerous lives to where they ask anyone that could be like a pretendian or anyone that could be a native from North America or South America and into different spaces, like provide what you know if you want to join that conversation. So I feel like unfortunately there's people like me, like myself, like I don't feel like my way of life and belief coincides with scientific facts, but even though I feel like it does, it's just not the same conversation. So I probably can't go as hard as passionate as you are, Mateo, but I feel like they're correct too. I just feel like it's different sides of the spectrum of trying to join conversations when it's not, because it's like science and spirituality or science and oral tradition. You really can't. You can to a certain extent, but not really. So I don't know. I just like listening to both, listening to one side of the lives that talk about oral history, traditions, heritage, and culture. And then I like hearing them go in on people and say like, hey, prove this, hey, prove that. But maybe it's just a live that you joined that was like that. But I probably am in their live like a lot and randomly too. So I just wanted to put my 2 cents in because I like listening to all you guys talk. It's just kind of odd that you guys are all arguing about science and then oral tradition. It doesn't coincide.
Right. Because as it stands, we're all in the process of learning. We're all trying to figure out the truth, right? Some are using science, some are using like things that their elders have taught them. That I think is a pretty accurate to say. We're all searching for those answers, and we're actively doing so. You're all intelligent gentlemen here, So no one's anything that's been shared here, in my opinion. That's my opinion. Nobody has to share that. So going forward, like, can we, like for those that want to have the discussion, can we just like state the facts of like what's true, and basically let's get to the facts of the matter, the bones of it all. That's what I'm here for. I'm trying to, and as you said, the what was it? Igbo man said something that I guess like went against what you guys were talking about. I want to see. Can you share that with me? Because for just my own knowledge, because I want to see. I never heard any Igbo beliefs were like.
I don't know where he was from. He said he was from Africa. I don't know if he was Igbo. I didn't say he was Igbo. Someone else said that.
Okay, that's my misspeaking then. Sorry.
Yeah, it was Hermes. He's from Nigeria. He Igbo.
Okay.
So he shared with us his origin story about his people migrating from heaven to earth, and he brought it up to point out that like that's what we believe, but that's our origin story. But we understand that doesn't coincide with science. It's not scientifically backed. And I only mentioned that to say like, no, I don't go to a Nigerian people and tell them prove that you're from heaven. Give me a scientific argument that you're from heaven. It's because it don't affect me. It's not erasing anybody. It's his own. It's his own prerogative. He's not obligated to justify. Give me a scientific argument for his beliefs that he holds, especially when like he's not doing anything to me, right? So that's the point that I'm making about Native people and their origin stories. If they don't need to make us like, yes, I understand Port City's argument that like if you don't want this movement to continue catching on and you don't want people to erase you, the most effective way to make argument is to use the science, and you're handicapping yourself by not using the science. That's why I use the science. But at the same time, we shouldn't be in this position to begin with, where we have to defend ourselves from an erasure because suddenly there's this weird movement online that's devoted to erasing us. You
should probably stop hopping your ass in scientific conversations. If Hermes hopped his ass in a scientific conversation saying he came from heaven, literally, then yeah, we on his ass too. No diddy. But that's what you can't do, bro. That's what you can't do. We ain't walking up to random Native Americans saying, "But show me where you from. What you prove what you believe in scientifically." What the fuck?
That's what you guys are saying. That's what you guys are saying. You're telling natives.
No, that's what you saying. That's what you are saying.
This is a waste of time talking to him, bro.
It is, bro. It seems to be because he just gaslighting. He extreme gaslighting.
They might be assuming something about them when they're actually telling you what they don't believe or what they're not doing, and you're saying the same thing, what you believe and what you're not doing. Now, can we just accept that for that? You are not doing what you said you're not doing. They're not doing what they're saying they're not doing. Let's move forward from that. Let's stop throwing blame on people. Like, we're not saying what's being said. We came to that conclusion together. Now how can we, please.
Yeah, you can't ride the fence on this one, Casey.
The solution to me is simple. Like I said, you can't come. I mean, I don't know how many times, I don't know how redundant I got to be. You can't come into a scientific conversation. Oh, I mean, you can. Let me correct that. If you come into a scientific conversation with your oral tradition and it does not fit the bill, then we gonna be on your ass, and we non-discriminate. We go at Native Americans, African Americans, Mexicans, Canadians, Nigerians, Ethiopian. It don't fucking matter. So you crying about being attacked personally and trying to make it as we attacking all Native Americans generally is some bullshit.
No, I mean, you attack.
And all the Native Americans in the chat has been letting you know this whole time that it's some bullshit. So the solution is simple. Leave your beliefs at the door when you come into a scientific conversation. We don't follow y'all We don't follow y'all harassing y'all, telling y'all to prove what you believe. Y'all hop in, the ones that do, y'all hop into our comments on our videos and our lives when we having scientific discussions, and y'all bring that to the table. So whose fault is it really?
Dude, I came into the live and you attacked me because of something that Native Mama said. You are generalizing. That is generalizing. I'm not accountable for Native Mama. I don't have to answer for what she's done. And you don't get to attack me unprovoked just because we both happen to be Native. That's the only fucking reason.
Hey, you don't get to tell me about a talking point that another black man made, right? So I didn't say nothing about Native mamas.
I did it.
That was Sutin. That was Sutin that said that. That wasn't me. I asked you the questions because I wanted to ask you the questions. And I just say it like that. I asked you them questions. Whatever I asked, whatever I said it because I wanted to.
Okay, so why didn't you stop harassing me and being disrespectful towards natives after I answered your question?
Bro.
How were we disrespectful towards natives?
No, you didn't. Because after you guys asked me, do you believe in oral traditions or do you believe in science? And I told you that I believe.
The conversation got de-escalated.
You're fucking lying, dude. And then Port City even told you that no, he wasn't saying that. And then another person on your panel told you no, he wasn't saying that. 3 different people told you, and you still continue to come at me sideways.
So how are we disrespecting natives though? I want to know that.
Because
you were saying that
you were shit talking me.
So you shit talking me. We didn't even disrespect him. We were just telling him that Native Mama was saying stuff, and he didn't get on her for saying it to Port. So if that's disrespecting him, is disrespecting
that was your excuse.
That's what it is. At the end of the day, that's what it is. Disrespecting him, he feels like it's disrespecting all natives. And also, we didn't disrespect him. Just to be clear.
I didn't do enough to Native Mamas to satisfy you. You jumped my shit.
Mateo, do you follow Choctaw? Yes or no?
I didn't hear you.
Do you follow Choctaw?
Yeah, I think I do, maybe.
Hey, do you? So you say you don't like racists and bigots, right?
I mean, I haven't seen him say anything racist or bigoted.
But you don't like racists and bigots, right?
If I saw him saying something of that nature, I would confront him.
If you saw it. Oh, so a lot of people stopped following Choctaw because they caught him several times being racist.
Hell no. You ain't gonna give me
I'm a screenshot it. He just recently did it. Hey, he just recently did it on my post. I will screenshot it, post the video, and I'll tag you to it, as well as tag Choctaw to it, which I don't think I need to because he know what he said. And that's why he trying.
We're crying about the shit that happened to the Native Americans. The same shit we've been telling you when it happened to us in the Afro-Indigenous people. Yo, homeboy at the bottom has been doing this shit.
Yo, Choctaw, you get your
and no one's checked him for it. Because y'all don't give a fuck if y'all kicking with racist Native Americans. They still y'all homies. Well, we gotta check every fucking black person that come at y'all. I got it, bro. You motherfuckers is biased as shit.
That's what you're saying. I gotta check, y'all.
There's a person on the panel that did not get to speak. Can you just give that grace to?
Yeah, I'm gonna mute. Hold on, Casey. Let me mute.
Give the Okimo. It's yours.
Hello, everybody. Good evening. I just wanted to come in and say, there's a lot of time we have misconceptions about things, or people say things, and maybe there's not understanding on both sides. And like you said, adjustment syndicate, they're all about evidence, they're all about research. And then on the other side of it, Native Americans, we have a lot of our beliefs and a lot of our traditions, and I come from a unique kind of perspective because I have degrees in anthropology, cultural anthropology, and then at the same time I'm a traditional person, and so I look at both sides and see where at times we may have disagreements or we may have things that go on that we don't agree with, but at the same time a lot of things can be backed up with science. I'll just give you an example. I'm Cree, and so part of our traditions and stories we talk about, Trader, God, whatever you want to call it, made the earth over 3 times, and then he had to make it over the last time a 4th time because there was too much ice for people to survive. So when you look at it in a Western science kind of paradigm, and you look at there's 4 different glacial periods that occurred during the ice ages, that they'd melt, they'd come back, they'd melt, they'd come back. And so I think a lot of people need to look at their oral traditions and find how those correlate with Western science or vice versa, because there is a lot of things out there that as Native people we can contribute to Western science that will help other people that are struggling out there, are looking to connect these different things. There's a lot of good books out there, a lot of good information from the Native perspective tying to Western science with some of our stories, some of our beliefs, some of our planting systems. All these things can be tied into Western science also. And so just a unique perspective on it to look at it from both sides. A traditional story that has real world explanation in that the glacial ice period time. And so these are the things that we need to look at as men, as scholars, as traditional people. What ties us to our stories? What ties us to the science of it? The things that are going on in our world. And I think that we need to be able to look at it from both sides, because not everything explains everything. So just a little story, just something to connect a traditional side to a Western paradigm. So thank you guys very much for allowing me to speak. You all have a good evening.
Thank you, Okima. I appreciate you.
Peace.
Now, Choctaw, things were said about you. I'm gonna give you your chance to speak now, and then the next person to speak, like, please show the same respect. Mute and have that decorum, please. Choctaw, you want to explain about the anti-blackness?
Please.
Want to be that would be racist.
Hold on, let Choctaw explain.
It's hard and shit. They gonna cry about a fucking word. Acronym ain't no damn racist shit. Just because someone said they ain't using it, that don't mean it's racist.
What I will say that inherently, hold on. I just want to begin in part of what you're saying. I'll let you have the full range. Now, the word Wabo inherently, I believe, as somebody with a mixed descendancy, is not a racist word. Now, when it's racially charged, like, for instance, I'll give an example. Now, when you think the word Wabo and the first people you think of is black people, you already have a preconceived notion and a bias towards the people, and thus it becomes a slur. And that's how I figure it out. Because Wabo can be a white person presenting who's mixed or whatever, doing pretending shit, and it could be somebody who is black presenting doing pretending shit. The difference is when I use the word, and I don't use it any fucking more because like people are pretty sensitive about it, and I'm pretty respectful of that. But when I use it, I'm not thinking of I'm talking about anybody doing pretending shit. I can't get into the head of the next man, to say that they're doing the same thing I am. But when you think the word Wabo and you think of black people first, you're racist. There's no way around that, because that's the first people you go to. And I'm not saying that's for everyone or everybody believes that, I'm saying that.
It's a black group of people who are rewriting history and erasing natives.
Okay, I get what you're saying. Choctaw, please explain yourself.
Wabo is an acronym. I mean, that can't be racist. They're trying to compare. These fuckers, and they call me racist. I ain't never been on their panel. I ain't never been in their fucking comments or nothing. I don't even know the fuck these motherfuckers are here. I ain't had no problem with these motherfuckers never here. Cause motherfucker, I go against the pretendians here. I ain't got no problem against them either here. Cause that shit ain't gonna affect my goddamn nation, Choctaw Nation. They ain't gonna affect none of my shit. So this shit ain't even relevant. You know what I'm saying? What the fuck I'm gonna be racist for? Like I say, I don't even know Suit Tech or the motherfucker I do beside him, Suitin. I don't know these motherfuckers here. Then they gonna talk about, yeah, you being racist. What the fuck? And they never show no goddamn proof. They just saying some bullshit. They talk about I hang around people. They hang around Vanta. Vanta is the motherfucker racist. And they all love his motherfucking ass hell.
They
talk
actually
about hanging around with
don't fuck with Vanta for reasons. They actually don't fuck with Vanta for reasons. I heard them discuss that. They don't fuck with Vanta because he went left.
It's not racist.
But I don't know nothing about it.
I never heard Vanta say any racist shit. I've heard him defend people over racist shit. I've heard him defend people that
Man, heard shit.
I heard him defend against people. Hey, can I speak, bro?
Hold on, hold
Boom
on,
higher,
Choctaw.
boom
Hold on,
higher.
Choctaw, 'cause I gave you the full range. I gave you the
He's
full
the
range.
same.
Let him have his.
He's the same person that used to go after Afro-Indigenous people, calling them effing wobbles, and they told him to
Are you
stop
talking about
calling them
Vanta
that.
Black or Vanta Entertainment?
Vanta
He talking about Vanta Entertainment.
Yeah, Vanta Entertainment's a fucking racist, yeah. And he's a wobble.
How's he racist?
How's he
I don't
racist?
agree with the wobble part because I never heard him say he was indigenous. So that's weird. But as far as the racism part, I don't know. I've never seen it, which is why I'm trying to get to the bottom of it. But the wobble, nah.
He also pushes race
I've
realism.
never seen him claim indigenous.
See, this is the point. This is the point of what Sutton was saying. Some of these guys come in there hot without reading the room. They don't know who's who and what our worldview or perspective is, and they immediately see black faces and say, "Wabo, you a Wabo. Your ancestors is African." Like that's the racist shit. It's not the word itself. It's how they use it. Can you?
You gonna get it. Just wait.
Yeah, he can't help himself. This guy right here has personally said some racist shit on my page recently. And like I said, I'm going to screenshot it and I'm going to post the video.
Screenshot that shit, motherfucker. Hell.
And if my memory serves me right, I'm pretty sure he called Josh the F word before.
I heard he called Vanta the N word.
Yeah,
Vanta don't like him too.
He used the N word multiple times. That's why I blocked him off my live.
There you go.
That's true, Choctaw. I can't fuck with you.
Everybody fucks with him, and they know he's doing it. They blatantly know he's racist, and they still fuck with him.
Yeah, you gotta show that
because they like hanging around racist people. They just want us to call it out when they don't call it out. They push this shit under the rug when it's their friends. Got it.
Like y'all racist too, hell. I know damn well y'all racist. I hear that shit. Talk about natives all the goddamn time. That's all y'all.
Pay attention to the wording. Y'all racist too. Y'all racist too. You see what I'm saying?
I just want to know.
Whoever's muting AZ, don't mute AZ because AZ ain't even in this. Like, don't mute AZ. AZ.
I have Native American friends in the chat right now. How am I racist?
Damn, what the hell's going on?
All I ever do is go after pretendians who claim to be Native American.
Friends there, we're even.
We got Native American friends on the panel as well. We got Native American on the panel. That's our partner. Like, I don't get, bro. I don't know, man. You think because you felt some type of way, you got hurt because of the questions, and now you want to cry wolf, do the same thing that the white folks do. But yeah, they jumped us. They jumped me. It was 15 of them niggas. It's terrible, bro. You got to stop that. And now you acting like we coming at all Native Americans. That's some bullshit. They telling you, Native Americans are telling you that's bullshit. Ride with your story though, bro. Stand on your square. Stand on your square full of bullshit.
God damn, this expand. Okay.
Yeah, so this is Vanta Entertainment's live where he was showing different skulls and making the claim that you can determine a person's race by the shape of their skull. That is scientific racism. It's pseudoscience. It was developed. This whole phrenology is a school of eugenics. It is racist pseudoscience, and he was promoting that on his live. I took a screenshot of it. So tell me this motherfucker's not racist when he's pushing phrenology.
Well, you took a screenshot. You should have said in there and screen recorded what he was saying because you just showing a picture.
I mean, it's on
doesn't mean
YouTube.
that he was going for what this is actually saying. He could have been talking against it. We don't know. You got the screen recorded, or you just got the screenshot.
You putting your words to it. That's why he's saying you should have screen recorded it. Because Vanta, I mean, anybody, you can come over there on Students Live and randomly screenshot some shit and say, we pretendians. Look, they got the map flipped upside down. Look at those pretendians, those pseudo. Like, I mean, anybody could do that. So, I mean, I don't know. But even if that was the case, I don't think that is a credible stance to take by calling him racist because he used pseudoscience.
It's race science, brother. It's not just pseudoscience. It's scientific racism. It's race science.
Okay, but there's scientific racism. Say he uses scientific racism. Don't say he's racist because he don't dislike Native Americans. He fucks with Native Americans just like he fuck with African Americans and everybody in between. I've seen him take up for people that are non-black. So I don't feel like he's racist. I don't think your example shows that he's racist either. So I don't know what you're talking about.
What I will say in the case
I
of
don't think
Vanta,
anybody else has said that you
I
was
will
racist
say in
either.
hold on,
Don't think it's racist.
give me a second, bro. What I will say in the case of Vanta, now I've never seen him say anything inherently racist, like like you're this, you're that. I have seen him push like what I believe to be pseudosciences and like race theories, and that I don't really fuck with, which is why I don't go in his lives too much. And the fact that he fucks with Granny Coy, who I do not fuck with at all because of the shit she pushes. So, I don't know too much of his character. Now, if we have to call him in here to defend himself too, shit, I don't got shit to do. I'm up here applying for jobs and shit. So like, whatever, if you guys need me to do that we could do that. But yeah, I do agree that is a racial science that he's pushing. But to call him racist, I don't know. I haven't seen him call anyone anything. So I'm just being fair. Now I'll let you have it.
I mean, pushing scientific racism is inherently racist. It's inherently racist. You cannot be on the fence about that, dude. If someone's promoting that and putting it forth as if it's a valid science and these are real, legitimate things to say that you could determine race by the shape of a person's skull. And like it says right here, it's listed that this is supposed to be a Paleo-Indian and a Paleo-American, and he was making the distinction that one is a black skull and the other one is an Asian skull, and he was literally saying that these are the Paleo-Americans, the black people, and these are the Paleo-Indians, the Asian people. He was trying to. This is Schwaboism. This is erasure.
That's that I don't. Well, let's not use the W word in that context. But anyway, I do not agree with that this should be pushed because I do believe that that's fucked up. You can't say that somebody's black based on the skull. You can't say somebody's native based on the skull. That's bizarre. And it's been debunked from what I understand through my learning and hearing other people. So I do agree with that part of the conversation. I will say that. Now, as far as him being, I don't know this man too much. I don't know too much of what he's about. So I'm not gonna cape for this man at all in any regard. But as it stands, he is within my diaspora, an African American person. So and I haven't heard you say anything about his race. So I'm not pushing that on you. Don't take it like that. So I'm gonna have to get to the bottom of that too. The same way if say it was the other way around, right? And they were saying how they were saying things about you, and I brought you up here to defend yourself and say your piece. And there's some parts of what you're saying I agree with. There's some stuff I told you that I didn't agree with, as far as you calling them bigots and shit. So. Yeah, I don't know this man, Vanta. I really don't. And I just want that to be clear that I do not back racial sciences. I do not back people saying bigoted shit to either party. I do not back racism from either party. And I, belong to the diaspora of both parties. So yeah, that's what I want to be clear. I'm here to mediate and try to come to some understanding between the individuals involved. So I hope people can respect me on that. So yeah, that being said, let's move forward with the conversation.
As far as Vanta, we have a neutral, I guess, quote unquote relationship. I don't know what else to fucking call it. But I don't come in his spaces and he don't really come in our spaces where we be at. He on his whole other shit right now where he's fucking with the pretendians and all that shit, and I don't feel that ain't what's up to me, that ain't cool. So I've been keeping my distance. I don't have no issue with him, but I'm going to tell the truth, whether that be in the negative or the positive for him. Honestly, I've seen him tell somebody in the chat that phrenology is a pseudoscience. So I really don't believe this. I don't believe the narrative. Like I said, like Susan said, it would have been better if you would have screen recorded so we could have heard him say it out of his mouth. Because for me personally, I've heard him say out of his mouth that phrenology is pseudoscience. He told people in the chat that were coming in and trying to attack him. You know what I mean? Some people were coming in saying the skull size shit, whatever that bullshit is. I don't know much about it. I know it's pseudoscience. But yes, he has said that shit is outdated. Motherfucker don't use that. He didn't say it in those nice words, if you know Vanta. But that's what he said. So I honestly don't believe this. If you can go in whenever you see him live, ask him about it, then screen record.
He
Let
made
him
the
know.
claim
You know what I mean?
Listen, he
Go
made the
ahead.
claim that this shit in the background is not phrenology. He said that he was just talking about cranial morphology, and that's not phrenology. And he said that cranial morphology is still a valid science. And I said, yeah, it's a valid science when studying the skull. But when you try to apply that to race and try to incorporate a racial element, it becomes pseudoscience. That's what phrenology is. There's legitimate sciences that grew out of earlier pseudosciences that were a part of the eugenicist movement, but they have removed the racial element of it and salvaged whatever valid parts were within it. But to still try to hold on to the racial part, that the claim that you can determine a race
Bruh,
by
can you
examining the
please stop
skull,
talking
that
about me?
is pseudoscience, and that's what he was doing.
Bruh, stop bringing me up.
I mean, I didn't bring you up. Someone else brought you up, and then they said that you weren't racist, and I said I got receipts that proves he is.
Yeah, I'm
No,
not racist.
Bro, you
you and
talking about
Choctaw,
it's so that
you and
Choctaw don't do
Choctaw,
that
bro.
You
shit.
say the N word. Choctaw said the N word. Granny
There you go.
exposed him. No Name said the N word. Granny, they got that. It's on the live. I can send it to you. So don't
So
talk about
if you
nothing about
guys
being
if you guys
racist.
tar and feather Vanta,
Yeah,
I'll tar and
wait.
feather
Shut up.
Choctaw.
Let
Okay.
me speak. Shut your ass up. And I never said race exists. What is going on is, if you know anything about when they try to differentiate archaic humans and modern humans, what do they use? Cranial morphology, dental morphology, anatomy. Those are things that they utilize. So shut your ass up.
What's a Paleo
Stop saying
Indian and
shut
what's a
up.
Paleo
Hold
American?
on,
Stop cutting me off. Like,
Vance,
shut your ass up. Let me finish.
Vance, I know
They still
you.
utilize these things in order to differentiate people. So stop playing around.
Differentiate hominids, not races. That's what you were claiming.
Race does not exist. We all know that. But they
Then why does
still
it say
use. Wait,
Paleo Indian
hold
and
on.
Paleo
You're
American?
gonna keep talking. I'm
Hold
gonna
on.
let you
Give me a
talk
second to
because
say
you're
something,
running your
guys. Give me a
mouth.
second to say something, guys.
You're running
All
your
right,
mouth,
so
bro. You're running
give
your
me,
mouth because I'm
Vanta, give
not
me a
worried
second,
about
bro.
your ass.
Vanta, give me a second, bro. All right, so like Vanta was accused of some things here, so that he has every right to be as like charged as he is because like if I'm being called a racist, I'm gonna feel some type of way. Now moving forward with like this part of the conversation, I'm gonna showtime it so that it seems to be like you and Mateo at this part of the conversation. What I will ask of you both is if you cannot like tell each other to like shut up and shit. And I'm Vanta, believe me, I know, bro. Like fuck that shit because like you were accused of things. But just for the direction of the live, so I can follow the conversation, can we just have like some decorum in that way, please?
All right, I respect your live, brother. Apologize.
Now, do we need a showtime or can we give turns?
I don't think so. I mean,
Just give me 1 second to explain everything because he keeps interrupting me, and then he can proceed on.
Okay, let him have it.
So what I was getting into, like when you get into cranial morphology, what they're getting into is the differences in the skull shapes, the measurements and everything like that. And they do try to connect that with certain people, certain populations. So that's what they're getting into. It doesn't have to always be about race. They're getting into the differences, how the skull shape differentiate from another skull. So a skull coming from Southeast Asia is going to be different from a skull that's coming from East Asia because of the different admixtures and the different migration events that those people have endured. It's very simple. You're going off race. You keep bringing up race. It's not all about race. Now proceed.
all right. So I mean, you basically just said what I said in different words. The claim that you could determine, and you say it's not race, but okay, it's not race, but you could determine someone who's a Paleo Indian versus a Paleo American. Now we know that these are two distinct people, two distinct ethnicities and groups, right? What we call today in society race, what we refer to as race. And apparently, according to you, we can determine that race by looking at their skull shapes. Now, you don't have to call it race. You could call it a Paleo-Indian and a Paleo-American, but what you're talking about is race. You cannot do that. It's not a legitimate science to claim that you can. The features that make up our distinct phenotypes are mostly soft tissue features. You can't determine if someone is from Paleo India or Paleo America simply by looking at their skulls, because our skulls are far too similar to accurately make that determination. So that is not a valid science. That is pseudoscience. That is phrenology.
It's craniomorphology. Phrenology is synonymous, but there is differences because they also try to incorporate phrenology on people's behaviors or how intelligent they are as well. So craniomorphology is getting into the measurements of the skulls, and that's really all that they're getting into. So yeah, even though that there are similarities, guess what? Being similar, we're genetically 99.9 to 99.5% the same. But guess what? We still have differences. So those differences can help you differentiate different populations. So that's what they're doing. So can you solely depend on craniomorphology? No, you can't. But they still utilize it. To say that they don't utilize craniomorphology is buffoonery. They still utilize it. They still utilize dental morphology. They
Any
still
work that
utilize,
would
can I
claim
finish
that,
before you cut me off? They
okay,
still
say it 3 more
utilize
times.
anatomy. So they still utilize all these things. What they say is that they don't want to just use one of those things. They want to utilize all of those things. So they have not just pushed it all the way away. They still use it, but they incorporate genetics. They incorporate dental morphology. They incorporate anatomy. So stop playing.
And I'm moving forward. Like I don't
Who
know
does
too much
that?
about that, so I'm actually learning from you both. So like, thank you guys for saying what you're saying, because I don't know too much about like the cranial morphology and stuff of those nature. But go ahead, Mateo.
Yeah, I don't know who he's saying does that. There isn't a bunch of phrenologists running around measuring skulls and trying to determine what the race is. That no one's doing that. And if you claim that you can discern a person's origins or what population they're a part of by measuring their skull, what are the distinct cranial or morphological features that Native American
What is
possess in comparison to
hybridization?
like
What is
what
hybridization?
you think hybridization?
Hybridization, what is it?
It's when two different species create a hybrid.
Exactly. And guess what? Different populations have different hybrids. They hybridize with different species. Like so you can tell that the different species that they hybridize with in their skull shapes. That's
Really?
very simple. And that's another
Okay.
thing.
So what
That's
hybrid is
just
or
like, okay, so
what features
certain people have more
listen?
Neanderthal DNA. Certain people
All
have
right,
more
what
Denisovan
features do
DNA.
black people possess that
Africans
is
have more Homo sapien DNA than anyone else, but they
but
still have
they
these
don't
other
have they
admixtures
don't have
due to
Neanderthal DNA?
migration events, and you can tell that in their skull shape.
Really?
I
So
They
have
yes,
don't,
you
they don't,
can.
so,
Neanderthal DNA, so I'll say that as an Afro person, I have it. So I'm
so
2%,
do African
2%
people.
Denisovan. I'm 2% Neanderthal according to my DNA 23. So yeah,
Thank
I
you.
mean,
And those things can
African
show
people
up in
have
your skull shape.
admixture of Neanderthal as
It
well.
doesn't just show up. It doesn't just show up in your genetics. It also shows up in how your crane is formed. So your cranial morphology, your anatomy, all that is determined on not only modern admixtures but archaic admixtures, and that's what I said. But what people like to do, they like to pick and choose what they hear. I've been saying that. So if you have different archaic admixture, of course your skull is going to be different because you don't have the same admixtures as other people. Like that's very simple.
I mean, African people have Neanderthal admixture,
I
so
didn't say they didn't. I said it's due to back migrations. You're not listening once again.
so why would I not be able to or why how would I be able to tell that a black person is black by looking at their skull when they also have Neanderthal DNA
At a
and they're
different percentile. There's a different percentage
okay, what
from
percentile causes a
0.3%
morphological
and someone having 4 to 6% Neanderthal Denisovan admixture.
Okay, so
Their
what
skull shapes are going to be
what
based,
percentage affects the skull shape?
like I said, hybridization, migration. A lot of different things impact the way that we look. A lot of different things impact our genotypes and our phenotypes. Once again, UV radiation, diet, like I said, admixture, whether that is hybridization or more recent admixture, migration, mutations, pathology, dealing with different diseases. Like, come on, that's going to affect people's phenotypes and genotypes, and
And so,
that's more than just on a muscle level. That's on a skeletal level as well.
all right. So what are these distinct features that scientists use to determine a person's race?
Race doesn't exist. I already said that.
Okay,
Race
what
doesn't
features
exist.
do they? What skull features do they
No, what they're tracking
reference?
is if
What skull features do they
tune
reference
onto
to
Hold on, hold
determine
on,
if
my
someone's
live,
Mateo.
hold
Let
on,
him
African or
answer the
hold on,
first
hold
American?
on.
question you asked before you asked another question.
I'm just rewording the question because
Okay,
I'm
because I
curious
can't
and
follow the
accurate.
They
conversation.
determine off of admixture and migration. Admixture and migration. I've been saying that. It's determined off of admixture and migration. They're
How do they
tracking
determine admixture
admixture
by
and
looking at
migration.
skull?
Like, bruh, like I keep saying the same
How do they
thing. Like,
determine an admixture by looking at a skull? What is the skull, the cranial
they
feature?
determine it off of multiple factors, but they can determine it off of looking at
What's the
people's
skull one?
craniomorphology as well.
What's the skull one? What is it about the skull that allows them to determine if someone is African or if someone
Different
is European?
measurements.
Which parts?
All of it, the whole skull. What are you talking about?
Oh,
The
so the
the
whole skull is
brow
distinctly
ridge,
different?
everything. Your anatomy is just not the skull. You're focused on the skull. You just a skull head at, like, bro. You about to make me roast you. Like, you just focus on the skull. They focus on the anatomy and everything. Even when you look at Homo floresiensis, when they are short hobbits,
Yeah, non-human
and they have
hominid.
a different history than any other archaic human. So yeah, there's differences within every damn
I mean,
population,
that's a different
either
species.
archaic or modern.
That's a different species. We're all the same species. Our skulls are not significantly
Homo
different.
erectus had different
There's
heights.
not a significant difference
Not all
between
Homo
one race of
erectus were the
people's skulls
same
and the
height.
others.
Neanderthals weren't the same height. Homo heidelbergensis weren't the same height. They all had different anatomy. They all were different heights. They all were different sizes. They didn't all have the same skull size, and
I
we
mean, we
all
don't
have
have
different
Neanderthal
admixtures
skulls. We
with
don't
those
have
different
Neanderthal
populations.
skeletons. We don't have Neanderthal skulls or Neanderthal skeletons. We have human skeletons like yours.
So can I ask a
That's
question?
that's false. They do have Neanderthal
This is just for
skeletons.
my part of the conversation. I just want to ask a question because like I'm a mixed ancestry. So like you guys, I'm just asking, like, is like the question if you could determine someone's racial identity, like whether they be black, what have you, by the measurements of their skull. Now, when it comes to people like me who are admixed, how does one do that? I'm just asking for part of my ignorance.
Well, like I was saying earlier, like they can't really determine race by looking at a skull. But what they're looking at different migration events and different admixture events that took place that'll make their skulls a certain measurement, a specific measurement.
Hold on, can you
That's
mute
what
up,
they're
please,
looking at.
Supreme?
Because race doesn't exist. It doesn't exist on skeletal. It doesn't exist skeletal rise, or like I say, it doesn't exist like within our anatomy, and it doesn't exist in our genetics.
It must, if they can determine what our admixtures are and where we come from by our skull shape. It must.
No. Once again, they're looking at the admixture events
Contradicting
and
yourself.
migrations. And when they see that there are differences between these different populations, and they see that these certain measurements are found in different areas or specific areas, then they're like, okay, this is similar to this migration, these people over here.
Right. And
So
also that
that's like,
theory,
okay, so
Hold on,
that
Supreme. Give
theory,
them a
that
chance
theory
to.
that
let
y'all
me
talking
finish.
about.
Let me finish.
Hold on,
These
Supreme.
Tap the
people, these
screen. Tap the
people,
screen.
these people right here are more similar to these people, and they are before these other people. So we're going to say that they derive from these people because we find the oldest sites in this region, and in this region, they are similar to those people. Like that's very simple. Archaeology, archaeogenetics, paleontology, anthropology. Do I have to go on?
That
You
also
can finish those if you want.
that thing that y'all was talking about, that thesis on the skulls that you lay on, their heads, and then one rocks and one doesn't. That was deemed to be falsified because of the guy said it was like racist, but it was showing something significant. And also, those people that are the person that's
Please pull
depicted
up
right
a
there
study.
is that
Pull up a study where they
who
do not
made.
use craniomorphology anymore.
Yeah,
That's all right. And we
nobody
can just
uses
kill it.
cranial morphology
Okay,
anymore. That's what
show
it is.
that. Demonstrate that.
Oh, okay, but anyway, like I was saying, when it comes down to that, because you're interrupting me, that person that you have on the
Because we
depiction
going in
right there.
circles.
Okay, go ahead, brother.
I ain't got
Go
all
ahead,
night for this.
go ahead.
Vanta, can I ask you a question? This is for something I seen in the chat. It's not me. Can you explain what you mean when you say race doesn't exist? Because there seemed to be
Uh
some confusion in the chat.
So
race
yeah,
is
what I was
more
saying too, that
phenotypic.
Hold
person
on,
still
Supreme.
Hold
exists
I
on,
in
asked you a
man.
whole
Australia.
question,
Come
bro. I
on,
asked
come
you a
on.
whole
Decorum,
question, bro.
decorum. All right,
Race
Red
is
got a question.
Thank you
So
for the question, bro. But yeah, race is determined off of phenotype, like because of the current social systems that we are basically bound upon. So that's what race is. So when we talk about science, like that really doesn't uphold anything.
Right.
Like that's more how how people see you, how people view you.
So in layman's terms, what you're saying is it's a social construct. It's not
right,
scientific.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
right. That I agree with. Yes, yeah. That's what I've learned from hearing you all. Excuse me.
Yeah,
Wow.
that was just for somebody in the chat. They were thinking that you were saying like ain't no races, and he's not saying that. He's just simply saying you can't use the skeletal remains to determine a social construct.
Yeah,
Right,
correct.
because
But
like
apparently,
back then we
you use it
weren't
to
back
determine
then,
the difference
and
between an African and an American.
I'm sorry, I didn't
Well,
hear the question.
you can use admixture and migration in a lot of different determinations in order to differentiate, different archaic humans and modern humans because they're not going to be the
Skull, right?
same. They're not going to be the same genotypically, and they're not going to be the same anatomically.
But and also their
So that
skulls will
has
be
nothing
different,
to do
right?
with
Their skulls will
race.
also be different, right?
Anatomically, I said anatomically, correct?
Yeah. So you meant their skulls.
No, anatomically is their whole skeleton.
Yep, that includes their skull, right?
Yeah,
So
that's not the
yeah,
skull.
yeah.
You're
All right.
focused
So
on
their
the skull once
skull,
again.
even though they can't determine race by looking at a skull, and the race itself is a social construct that's not biologically essential, right? It's purely socio and cultural, right? How that being true, however, we could still discern whether or not a skull is that of an African person or an American person by measuring and looking and examining their skulls.
Yes, because of once again, when people migrated, guess what happened? They went into different UV radiation levels. They developed different diets. They were impacted by different mutations. They went through different hybridization events. They migrated as well. So there's a lot of different factors that impacted the way that people looked, the way that their anatomy were. That's the
Yeah, and their
full
skulls.
anatomy, and also on a genetic level as well. So we're not just talking about anatomically, we also talking about genetically. People went through different changes, like people had mutations that impacted everything about them.
I mean, amongst all those things you listed, I just want to make it for the record that he also included the skull. You can look at the skull, and that is a determining factor, the shape of the skull. All right.
Yeah, but he's not saying that it determines race. You keep interjecting that, and you keep trying to pass it off as what he's saying, and that's disingenuous.
Well, he's being disingenuous by trying to play this little race as a social construct. Yet, I can still determine if someone's African or American based on their skull. Now, African and Americans are regarded to
African
be
ain't a
society.
race.
African and African people The people
Oh
indigenous to
man.
Africa
African
and
people
the
ain't a
people
race.
indigenous to America.
It's multiple races that are indigenous to Africa.
Hold on, and that's
Oh
why I asked
man.
the question that I asked, because say I unalive, how are they going to determine whether I was from here or from there? I have both ancestries, so it's like that's where like me, I'm getting a little bit confused in the conversation when you guys but yeah, I need to listen harder.
I think you might have an American skull, man. It's not African enough to peg you as an African. I think they're gonna have to call you an American.
That is weird.
What?
I mean, because I'm both.
I
But
think he's
anyway,
just saying stuff
Whoa,
at this
whoa,
point.
whoa! You
He's
both?
just
Damn.
saying stuff at this
I
point.
mean, I'm African and native, so like that's what I'm
I
saying.
know,
Like,
man. I'm fucking with you, bro.
oh, okay.
They could go
Yeah, that
like, bro,
brother,
your
like, he's fucking
skull,
with
dude.
you, bro.
Like,
That's all I was saying.
apparently, according to this guy, they should
We
be
trying to
able
have
to
a serious
tell.
conversation and you playing around.
They should be able to tell that you are both. They should be able to say, oh, this part of his skull is typical of an African from this part of Africa, and this part of his skull is typical of an American from this part of America. So we determine that this is
I guess you
a
didn't hear what I
hybrid.
said. They're
This is a
going to
hybrid
utilize
American
all
African
of them.
skull.
They're going to
We can
utilize
tell that by his
everything.
skull.
They're going to utilize everything. So they since we are way more advanced and we have all this genetic information now, so they're going to look at his genome. They're going to look at his genotype. They're going to look at his phenotype, and they will be able to determine,
They're going to look at his
who
skull.
he is fully.
And they're going to look at his skull. You keep trying to gloss past that, dude, but you still validate it.
Oh my
Yeah, you
goodness.
do.
Yeah, a lot of people still validate it. Don't get mad at me. Get mad at the scientists.
I
So
mean,
do you know
the
how
real
they
scientists
do you know
aren't
how they
scientists.
determine how they differentiate archaic humans from modern humans? What do they all use?
Your archaic humans. What do you mean by archaic human?
There's a lot of different archaic humans. Just explain.
Oh, so you're referring to different hominid species?
Yeah, explain. How do they do it?
Yeah, those are archaic humans. They're separate species.
Okay, explain how they do it though.
They obviously can tell by looking at their anatomy, their skulls, their
Okay, the
skeletons,
same thing I
all
said.
that.
The
Yeah.
same thing I said.
Except for
Anatomy.
those are different species. I can also tell the difference between a dog and a
Same
horse
thing they
by
can.
looking at its skeleton. But I can't tell
No,
the difference. I can't tell the difference between a
no, they're
fucking
not that
a
different. A dog and
Labrador
a horse.
and a golden
No,
retriever by looking at
bruh.
its fucking or a red wolf versus a gray wolf by looking at its skeleton.
Oh my gosh. Bro, you talking about a
Same
dog and a horse?
species.
That'll more be like a chimpanzee, a gorilla, or a orangutan because they all great apes.
Species.
Just like
Those are
we
different
are great
species.
apes as well.
Those are different species.
We are all great. They're great apes. They fall under the primates and they fall under this the special class as great apes.
Yeah, they're also different species. So obviously you can tell if it's a different species. But from
But
within the same species, two
you brung up
specimens of the same
a
species.
wide gap of different species that wouldn't even be in the same class. So I'm bringing up a species that will still be in the same class. You bring up an example of
Who's also not in the
species that
same
are not in
class
the
as
same
us.
class.
Neither are Homo florensis. Neither is Australopithecus. They are not the same species.
Well, first of all, also Polithecus, we evolved from them
Yes, but we are not the same species as them.
because we evolved from them.
All right? Do you
Like,
understand
what are
that?
you talking about?
That does not make us one
That's an
species.
evolutionary process. So of
Yes,
course we're not the same
there's
because
several
we
other
evolved from them,
evolutionary stages
bruh,
between us and them, and then those were also different species.
Evolution theory at this point, and I
bruh.
don't really
Yeah,
know.
this not getting anywhere because he's not understanding the whole talking point.
I understand it,
Like
bro.
there's
It's
going
just
to
not
be
valid.
anatomically differences if you mad about that, and if you mad at people using anatomically differences, then get mad at the scientists, bro.
I mean, the scientists don't say that. Scientists don't use skull shapes to determine
Okay,
if a person's from
pull that
Africa
up.
or a person's from America. They don't.
Make an example.
It's not sound science. No one uses it.
All right, you're just saying that. Okay. Yeah, they
Well, I
still
mean,
use all of that.
you're the one making an affirmative claim. Show us a source where there's an anthropologist that is telling us, based on the shape of this skull, we have determined that these remains belong to an African person.
You already had it up on your screen when they brung up Paleo Americans and Paleo Indians, and they were getting into the different migrations and the different people that had different admixtures. You already had it up on your screen.
I'll get your baby off the. Your baby showed up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want you to.
You
Yeah,
already
so I
had the
mean,
example
that
up on your screen.
screenshot is just a picture of two skulls with some captions driven around or written around it. So I don't see how that is a credible source.
So what?
That comes from an actual study. What are you talking about? You can, and if you want to, you can watch the whole video on my page. It's someone who's way more advanced than him. Someone who's actually in the field. He's just running his mouth. He's trying to discredit someone else's work that's actually in the field, and he's actually Native American as well.
If anything, you're probably misrepresenting their work. I highly doubt that they ever made the claim that they can determine a race.
You just said it was just something that was bullshit, and now you're trying to say that I'm discrediting their work. No, you're discrediting.
Well, I didn't say you're discrediting the work. I said you're probably misrepresenting their work.
It. No, you're misrepresenting it.
Sure.
I'm not misrepresenting anything.
Did skull shapes using skull shapes to determine race and or origin of a human person?
Okay, how about this?
It hasn't been used in sound science in decades. You're referencing old junk science from the early 20th century.
This guy, y'all have a good night. Just keep my name out your mouth. You used to be a groupie. Keep my name out your mouth, and everybody else don't talk about me. You a fool.
Go spread some more race science there, Frederick Blumenbach.
No Diddy.
What?
You Diddy. You a Diddy ass. You a Diddy.
What are you saying?
Hold on. Okay,
So
I can't.
I'm gonna move on.
You're a homophobe and a bigot and a racial scientist.
Like what's said, like it's like you
Just
guys
keep my name out your mouth.
You guys defer in ideology.
All right, Blumenbach, see ya.
Stop that. Stop. Come on, guys. You guys defer in ideology. That's all, like just you can't agree. Just like we don't need to throw the, and that's for both parties. It's just please,
he don't know what he's talking about.
I guess I'm wrong. I guess I'm behind the times. I didn't know that.
Catch up.
That we're using chronology again. I thought that was outdated. My bad.
Please catch up. It's so bad. Don't bring me up no more. Don't say my name.
All right, Blumenbach.
I'm not worried about you. I don't say your name. I don't even talk about you. So don't bring me up. Like this is
I'll do what the fuck I want.
Point.
I'll do whatever I want.
All right, do it in my face and see.
Okay. That being said, it seems like you guys have some discourse that you probably should have. I personally, I'm not gonna host that part. I tried. I'm not saying either you're wrong or what have you. You have the right to defend yourselves. You're both, right in that fact. So now, if you guys go to another YouTube or whatever, you should set up a debate. In my opinion, as to why you guys believe different sides of the spectrum. It seems like you guys you guys know more about this than me. So I would like
way
to
more than me.
I'm not saying any. I'm speaking for myself. I'm learning as I'm listening. Because I don't really dive into picking the people apart in this level, and it's real interesting. To hear a lot of the different discussions going on, but. When it goes to blows like that, I'm not gonna have that in my life because I don't want people to think that I'm caping to any one side. I'm here for facts. And that's where I lie with that. I'm both Afro-Indigenous. I don't want to say it anymore because I don't want to tokenize even my own identity. But yeah, if you guys need discourse, please set up a debate. That I think that would be the gentlemanly thing to do.
If he wants to do that, I'll definitely set up a debate and I'll wipe the floor with him.
I'm not going to debate phrenology.
Yeah, okay, exactly. So it's pointless. So have a good night. Have a good night, bro. Appreciate you for having me up here. Peace out, Syndicate and Young Rev. You know what I'm saying? Everybody else in the comments too. And I appreciate Susan for hitting me up too. So. But yeah, everybody else in the comments. I'm not gonna go in circles with this clown though. Peace out.
Yeah, good night, bro.
Yeah, I feel the same way, man. At this point, it's just redundant. Everybody seeing there. He keep trying to force Vanta to be talking about race when he's talking about craniomorphology. He keep forcing us to be speaking to all Native Americans when we spoke to him. It's just he's gaslighting us, and he's making red herring statements, red herring straw man arguments. Can I finish what I'm saying? Stop being so emotional, bro. So
Hey, why who the fuck's muting?
appreciate it. The either the mods or the host is muting you because you being so emotional that you won't let me get out my final statements before I drop. But yeah, man, I'm gonna go ahead and cut that short. I see dude can't handle it. Appreciate you, Casey. Appreciate you, Savage. Everybody else in the chat. Even to dude, man. Appreciate you for coming up to have a conversation. Even though you can't be honest about it. You know what I mean? I appreciate the conversation.
You're a liar.
He can't be mature about the conversation either, apparently. But yeah, man, salute. I'll catch y'all next time, man. I'm finna go hop on Attack on Titan.
All right, bro.
All right, peace, Tech.
All right, moving forward with the conversation.
Why you so hostile, bro? Why you so hostile?
First of all,
hold on. It's my live. It's my live. Remember that, please. Okay, moving forward with the conversation. We're not gonna take shots at like each other. Like he said he got some in, you got some in. Now we're gonna bring it back to some fucking direction and structure, please, because I want to learn and I want to get to the bottom of things. And as I said before, I believe this in my fucking heart and mind that I do not have any bigots in my room right now. I think that's just me. I'm not gonna put that label on anyone, but that could just be me being like humble or something along those lines. Now, moving forward with the conversation, can we please just have some decorum, please? No. Yeah.
This guy says that I'm trying to gaslight and make it to where that he's addressing all natives when he attacks me. But you heard it himself. Tell me if I'm wrong. You didn't hear this. He said that the reason why he was coming at me is because I didn't say something to Native Mamas when Native Mamas was arguing with Port City. How is that not holding me accountable for what other natives do?
I don't think that part. I don't think they were trying to do that. I wasn't saying it. Hold on. I don't think they were trying to do that. I don't think they were trying to do that, and I'm not going to put that on you. But like at the same time, I hear what you're saying. That's not fair. If that's what's being done, then yeah, that's not fair. Like they said something, they need to get their ass in here and I'm holding people accountable for it.
We were just here talking about it, and he even admitted that the reason why he was coming at me is because he says that I didn't come at Native Mamas when she was arguing with Port City. First of all, that's not true. I did defend Port City. Port City will tell you that I did. Port City told him that I did. Yet he still continued to attack me because of Native Mamas. If that's not guilt by association, if that's not punishing one Native for the actions of another Native, if that's not generalizing Natives, then what is it?
You know what? I can see what you're saying because like that's happened to me too. Because of some like I don't know people's ideology until they speak, and I don't know when people are at ends with each other until it happens. So yeah, I can get that. That it's not it's not right, it's not fair, and that because like people have done it to me, like guilty by association. In some capacity, I can understand. Like if you're like fucking Manny, we all don't like that fucker, right? Like when he says racist shit and like people hang out with him, fuck all those people. And that's just me, like based off his fucking actions and how no one speaks up on his panels about the shit he's saying. Now we are all men here. We have some decorum. We've been exchanging words and everything. And like, like I'm just trying to get on the direction of that. Like, I'm kind of losing what I'm trying to say. Cause like, honestly, I'm neurodivergent and this is fucking overwhelming for me. So, can we please just like stop calling each other shit, hold people that do their shit accountable for what they do, and stop painting a broad brush on people that have nothing to do with that person? Because like if I say some shit like how I'm talking now, I want to be held accountable for what the fuck I'm saying right now. I said it, me. So if anybody has any problem with what I'm saying, then they can take it up with me for what I said because I said it, right? Okay, so moving forward, can we get back on board with things? Sorry for over talking anyone trying to speak, but. Yeah, it's my life, and I want direction and structure, please.
All right. Well, I pretty much said what I got to say. I made my case well. Anyone who wants to act like like I didn't make my case well, and that somehow I'm gaslighting and I'm being disingenuous. Whatever, think what you want. We just had several people defend phrenology and race science in this live. We just had several people admit to coming
Hold
at me
on,
because
that's
of.
not true though. That's not
Yeah,
true.
they did. They
That
did.
brother,
Yeah,
that
they
brother
did.
clearly
They did.
stated. That brother clearly
Hold
clearly
on.
stated that race was not a real thing. He clearly stated that, and you kept trying to put that on him. And
I'm
now
sorry. You
you're
could talk outside of
now
both
hold
sides of your
on.
mouth.
Now now you're in your emotions because you don't like the information that was presented. And that's
It's
cool,
race
bro.
science.
But if you would have got out of your emotions, then
It's race.
y'all could have had a civil discourse about it. But you're not man enough to deal with information. So that's all
Science.
it is. So
It's race
yeah,
science.
that's it. It's not race science.
It's race.
How can you make it race science if the brother said the first one of the first things he said was you cannot use science to determine race. It's a social construct.
Because he
That's what his
contradicts
whole
himself.
argument was.
Because he contradicts himself. He says science doesn't exist, and you can't determine science by looking at anatomy, but you can determine if someone's a Paleo Indian or a Paleo American by looking at their skull. That
He
is
said no, no, no. He
just
didn't
because
say
he
their
tries to diss. No,
skull.
no, I'm still
He
talking.
didn't
I'm still
say their
talking.
skull.
No, I'm still
I
talking.
don't
I'm still
care.
talking. You
He
asked me a
didn't
question,
say
I'm
their
answering you.
skull.
I'm
I'm gonna show
answering the question.
time.
He
No,
said
no, no, no,
he
no. Just mute them the way I get muted.
and
Just mute him the
the
way I
other
get muted,
names.
right?
At
Just
this
mute
point
them
in
the
the
way
conversation, I'm going to showtime because I don't feel it's fair for people to be speaking over each other, nor do I think it's fair for Mateo to keep getting muted. Even though I like some of the things that he said, like I don't agree with, which I keep speaking up, when like people call and poke shots and all that shit. I don't like that from either side. So I'm going to, for the sake of the live, put this underneath a showtime. Okay?
When you said the Adjustment Syndicate was racist, I was on that panel and I'm part of them. Like I said, I don't play word semantics. So you need to at me and tell me who you were talking about. Because when you say the Adjustment Syndicate and I'm talking, right? So you're saying I'm racist too. So like I'm going to tell you again, at me. Are you saying that about me too? Don't give me word semantics. Just answer the fucking question. Okay, you can wrap me up.
Alrighty. Give me a second. All right. Oh shit. Goddamn. All right. Wait. What the fuck? Sorry. Hold on. My phone tripping. All right. There we go.
Yeah,
All right, Rev.
we
It's
could
on you,
move
bro.
on. Yeah, we could move on. I'm just simply saying don't get in your emotions and then when them brothers get off the panel, you try to reassert information y'all was just arguing about like it's the fact. Like get out your emotion. You mad that you didn't like the information that was presented and you got in your feelings about it. It's clear. That's when you went to all the insults. So yeah, that's all I'm saying. Uh, yeah, get out your feelings, bro. Like you
All
didn't agree
right.
with the information. That's cool. Move it on. But don't try to backdoor. Nah, you ain't gonna do it. You ain't gonna do it while I'm here.
Yeah, like we shouldn't talk about people who aren't here, especially like when we didn't agree with them and they bowed out the same way the other side bowed out too. Like both with differing ideologies. So
Yeah, that's
and then
all
the
I'm
shots, like,
saying.
come on,
Like if you
yeah,
gonna
okay.
leave, just say your goodbyes and leave. But don't get to saying they said this and you was trying to say that. Like, nah, all that's over with. We gonna leave it alone. Leave it alone. Because they not here to defend themselves no more. So you can wrap me
Yeah.
up.
All right, G. All right.
All right. So as far as missing minorities, that video that you're referencing is edited and doesn't include the part where I noted that Port City also. I didn't name you specifically because I'm pretty sure you were using a different profile and I didn't recognize you, but I knew it was a woman. And I said Port City and some other lady on the panel, and that was pretty much it. We're told these two Sutton and whoever else told them several times that Mateo wasn't saying that in the other live. Mateo didn't do that in the other live. Was that you? Oh, she's muted. She can't answer. I was there on this account. Well, I mean, I didn't see you on the panel. I don't recall you being on the panel, but I know that there was another woman on the panel, and I included that person as somebody who confirmed that I was not disagreeing with Port City, and Port City and that other person were told these people several times that I was not saying what this whole origin story, Trump science, and all that stuff. I was defending Port City, and I was agreeing with him, and I was standing up for him to Native mamas, and I wasn't motherfucking her and disrespecting her, but I was telling her he's right. This is true. This is science, and she even came around to agreeing that the science is valid. Now, everyone, I was generalizing when I said the rest of the syndicate, because it was most of the rest of the syndicate that were also taking the side of Sutton and the other dude while he was attacking me for something that Native Mama said. And if you were there, then you should be able to attest to that they were told multiple times, not just once, not twice, not three times, but multiple times.
All right, man.
So you should be able to attest to that. And so if anyone here that was in that live, they should know that repeatedly he made disrespectful remarks concerning the origin stories of Native Americans, equivocated the origin stories of a Native American with that of a wannabe Aboriginal, and was kept insisting that if I didn't attack Native mamas properly, and so that's why he's justified to attack me, and one native's just as good as the other. That's generalization. That's guilt by association. That was the events, how they played out. And I'm telling 100% truth. Anyone who fucking says that that's not what happened is a damn liar.
Is that how you want to concede your time?
Yeah. I mean, I got to get out of here anyway, so.
All right, man. All right, Supreme, you got it.
Okay. I don't know exactly what happened before I got in here and what the personal thing is, but one thing I want to introduce is maybe as another maybe a theory that I discovered yesterday. I talked to a person from Australia. Do you know in Australia they have 200 different dialects of different individuals that are completely different from each other? I saw the picture that was depicted, and then I came to an epiphany that a lot of the people that you were depicting as these ancient people are still actually in Australia and have the same phenotypes as they do that they have on record when they dig up these bones, oddly enough. If you do a side-by-side comparison, you can see an Aboriginal looking exactly like what is depicted on that screen there.